sand. She was standing on a beach, and she let the sand pour out of her hand, and she said, "How many grains of sand do you think that's on this planet?" Well, if anybody's been to the beach, I mean, your mind couldn't comprehend that. She said there's billions of planets for every grain of sand on this beach. So basically, she's saying that as far as we can see physically, creation goes is infinite. Some people think it's a circle. So there's a lot of thought out there about things, but thought separates you from reality, which is who you are. And this is why you hear a lot about living in the now and be present. I remember when I read J. Krishnamurti, and that's Kristmurti, J. Krishnamurti. And he was supposed to be this guru or master of millions of Hindus. And he said, "Not me." He said, "I'm no master." He said, "But I'll teach you how you can see truth. Because after all, the reality of spirituality is you. And you don't separate yourself from God." It's like that saying I said in my first video on spirituality. The seeker of God never finds God. There's some days you have to graduate from being the student or the chela and become the teacher. And then you can become the teacher's teacher. And you can go on. But as you grow that way and you truly lose your ego, then you're no longer the teacher, you just are. You might call yourself the way shower, if you will. It's like in health. I try to help you guys to watch out for the pitfalls and what you can take to help this and that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm always learning too. We're becoming a team. And that's how I see creation, because I'm like Jalad and Rumi. I see all of you as God. I see everything as God. I see this incredible mango as God. I'm going, my God, I'm going to enjoy you. You know? And that's the thing. You know? And that lifts you up into a much higher level of experience. And as you merge, you will see how that changes the way you perceive life. You no longer are the children playing in the playground. You become more of the creator of the playground. And you can do whatever your journey is from those areas. But karma and reincarnation to me is a very, very strong reality. And I think you'll find it even in Christianity. And I don't think anybody should be afraid. I think all ministers and priests, I think our biggest problem with this planet is we don't teach you reap what you sow enough. If you knew you hurt somebody, you were going to get it back. You'd only do it so long. You know, if you hit somebody with a hammer and you immediately got hit back with a hammer, you wouldn't do it too long. And that's the problem, that there's so much karma built up that you don't get hit with a hammer right off. But if you drive in traffic and you pull out in front of somebody, you just watch. Somebody's going to pull out in front of you before long. It's there. So, but a lot of this is working off some of the past karma, and the immediate karma you don't get. I've always thought if you saw karma immediately, boy, would it change the nature of things. You wouldn't hurt anything or hurt anybody. And there's no need to anyway, because life should be full of beauty and love and joy. You know, there's that old saying, you should love everything, but you don't have to like everything. There's some things you're just not going to like. In Christianity, I think Jesus said, be as little children again. That's living in the now. So if you get mad about something, then drop it and go on to the next state. But I can tell you, if you live so much in the now, you're right in the present moment where there's no thought. You can drive down the same road that you've driven down every day for 50 years and it'll be new. Each day you drive it, it'll be, oh look, I've never been here before. Look, that's neat. Because there's no memory anymore. In the present moment, there's no past or future. It is now. And in that moment, that is the infinite. And that's so simple to grasp. But it's difficult to achieve in the sense that the mind keeps wanting you to use it. My mind chatters on sometimes. I say, I'll sit it over there and let it do its chattering. Last night I got to chattering. It's like, oh, I couldn't sleep because of that. Just shut up. That's that mind. But one should never take offense at any of this. Spirituality is really growth, and it should be beautiful growth. You should never know that nothing's ever static on this planet. And individuality is the key to the beauty. Not everybody dressing the same, not everybody talking the same. That's stagnation. That's compression. And if you want freedom and love and joy and bliss, then lose your desire for everything. Just don't desire anything. Start using your intuitiveness to move you, to eat, to whatever. Being in that present moment is, like I said, oftentimes difficult, but it brings such joy and ecstasy. And it brings the power of consciousness through you because you are absorbing with the infinite, not identifying with the finite. This is all about where you place your attention or whether you become your attention. When we take on these bodies, it's kind of like looking into a bucket of water. Who's the viewer? We can look down through the different worlds and we can play in each world. But who's the viewer? When you're looking at something, who's the viewer? Who's the thinker of the thought? There's an old saying, is it, I think, therefore I am? Or is it, I am, therefore I think? And I think you're going to find it is, I am, therefore I think. So have fun with these. I know my time isn't real long. In spirituality, I always never have a lot to say at any given time because I've just learned that in the moment there's nothing but just sitting around enjoying each other's company and being and dancing to the single note of the flute of God. If you ever have a chance to view that Circle of Iron movie, enjoy that. That's pretty good for Bruce Lee to write that. I thought it was pretty cool. David Carradine, again, was the master, and pretty cool. The student and the master, then the student becomes the master. And the same thing in health. Don't always be the seeker of knowledge. That's where the mistake of a lot of people get. They think they have to have all this knowledge, and this is the problem with our country here in America particularly. We pride the intellect to our dismay and to our disadvantage. The intellect is why we're where we're at. If you pride anything, pride consciousness and simplicity, because that's the key to happiness. Intellectualism has trapped us and separated us. And this is why. We sit up there with our suits and our ties and always think, boy, you guys look uncomfortable. Why don't you take that tie off? I've never worn a tie. You don't have to wear a tie. Loosen yourself up a little bit. Loosen up. Take the bras off, so to speak. Loosen yourself up. Feel life. Be in the moment. Be present. And if you've got a spiritual guide, good. Use that. Listen to what that spiritual guide says, but don't lose yourself. Never realize that you're the living presence. You're the reality. You only have one thing to go by. You have only one thing to look to, and that's you. The problem is perversion comes in with the mind and emotions. So if one seeks anything in life, he should seek the now, in the sense of stop thinking and stop talking, and I always remember Phoebe Quantz, a very old Eckmaster, who told me that one time, and I brought that up. Stop thinking and stop talking, and there's nothing you won't know. And of course, I'm already practicing in the now, so that resonated with me perfectly. I used to, he used to play with me a lot. I think I told you that when I would give lectures, and I've given probably 1,000,000 lectures in my life, he used to pop here all the time and talk to me and give me a spiritual dissertation while I'm giving a lecture. And I appreciate those things later because I realized it was breaking me from my mind. And that's really important, is to break yourself from the use of your mind and realize you're not your mind, you're separate than your mind, and start being more of who you are. I think, in our children, the biggest education jump we can make is slow down and quit trying to make our children some intellectual gurus because they forget about God. Remember I told you the little girl that asked the baby to tell me about God again? I'm about to forget. We should never forget our divinity. We should never forget, because that means God forgets. And that's, of course, the drama gets good when you forget, but then it also gets the negative side going as well, and so it is far better when you maintain consciousness. Some people have fun forgetting. I've had fun forgetting in different movies and things I thought was really good. I saw the Harry Potter movie the other night, and I thought it was pretty good. I've always thought Harry Potter should be much stronger, because in the ways of masters, they're pretty powerful, and negative forces haven't got a chance with a powerful master. But that's the way the story goes. But I loved it when he was with the old master in the light, because I've been to places that are so lit up. I remember I was in a world one time that was almost solid. It was like cloud puff white, and everything was lined in gold. And there was all these spiritual beings with these white robes lined in gold. And I was so buzzed there was no word there. There was no way. I remember when I was initiated to the fifth plane, which is Sat-Nam, and only those that know that will understand this, but I was 10 days in the city I call the city of light. And there was no words. There was beings all over, but there was nothing spoken. I roamed this world for 10 days, night and day. I'd be sitting here talking to my clients, and I would totally be in that world. And it was interesting. But there's so much interesting experiences to be had away from this planet and into these worlds. You should never fear these things. Get strong, though. I remember talking a little bit on the health videos about channelers. And if you're a channeler, stop. Gain your control. You don't have to channel Saint Germain. You don't have to channel these entities. You really don't. You have to be careful, because some of them are not Saint Germain. Some of them are not some of these Michael and some of these things. You have to be careful, because when you open your consciousness to the universe, anybody can sit in. So, full of love, if I'm saying things that upset you, forgive me, but there's so much to the worlds out there, and I've spent my life through a lot of things and a lot of experiences, and so I can just tell you mine, as goofy and as crazy as they might sound. So if you're just interested in the health side, then you might not want to listen to these spiritual videos, because some people might consider me a wacko, but I'm a God man, and that's all I breathe, and that's all I live. There's nothing else in my life. And I've been that way most of my life, because I'm a devotee of the Supreme Being, period. And so I bring out to you what I can and what I'm here for. So I want you to enjoy all these as much as you can, and if I can give you any hint to help you, I will. And I will work with those of you that will have me help you. And all these other levels too. That's what I'm here for. So you'll find your progress in your health also a spiritual journey with me. And that's the fun of it, isn't it? I mean, the fun of it is to get happier and to get more aware and to release these chains that bind us.